So Tyler, you remember episode like 18? This is like half of the lifetime of the podcast ago, but
Oh yes,
it was
the Dark Ages.
the episode called Optionality. And in the cold open, I asked you if you had any like weird things that you use spreadsheets for.
Yeah.
Right. And my example was not actually super weird. It was like keeping track of my utilities or something. But I came up with
neither was mine.
I came up with a weirder one, more esoteric. That's also kind of silly, and it's McDonald's rewards points. Can we talk about that today?
Oh, Steve, we have to talk about that. I love McDonald's and their reward points.
All right, let's do it. Hello there, dear listener. I am Steve.
And I'm Tyler. And welcome to another episode of It's Not About the Money, It's About the Points. The podcast where we help you gain the clarity you need to run a successful small business.
Tyler has a financial coaching practice, and I run a tax business. We are both small business owners like you, and this podcast is our exploration of entrepreneurship one episode at a time. All right.
Today we're talking about McDonald's.
So
let's get back to the good stuff.
So McDonald's has an app, and if you place the order in the app, or if you like give them the code when you're in the drive-thru, whatever, you can accumulate points. And these points are eventually perhaps worth something.
Oh, I'm familiar, Steve.
Okay, so the other day I got curious because it's like, hello, you have however many points, I forget the number, expiring at the end of the month. And so that triggers my brain of, I got to go spend these points before I lose them, because what are they? They're made up internet points.
Yeah.
But they are actually worth something. And so I was curious, like, how much are these worth? Okay. So I go into I open up a spreadsheet because I'm a numbers geek. And so this is what I do. And there's a selection of like common items that you can buy for certain fixed point values. Like a McChicken is 1,500 points and a cheeseburger is 1,500. And they go all the way up to like a full Happy Meal is 6,000. So then I got that. So the item in the first column, point cost in the second column. Then I went through like the 4 McDonald's that are closest to me, and I added all of these things to the cart and then switched the location between them all and wrote down the prices.
And they were different?
They're different. That also surprised me.
That is fascinating.
Like the one inside the Walmart is the most expensive.
Interesting.
There's like an $8 difference between if you bought one of each of all of these items between the cheapest one and the most expensive franchise. $8 difference. Fascinating.
There's like a couple reasons that's interesting to me. And one of those is I've noticed, I've never made a spreadsheet about this or thought too much about it, but I pretty much order the same thing almost every time I go to McDonald's, and it often is a different total when I check out. And I've always thought that's kind of weird. Like, are they doing it'd be interesting to learn more about this. Like I wonder what their pricing model is. Like, does it depend on the time of day? Like, do they have surge pricing like Uber? I have so many questions.
Oh, yeah. I
have
don't
no
even
idea.
know. These are all questions we can answer with enough crowdsourcing of the data and a large enough spreadsheet.
Oh my goodness.
It probably also depends on the franchisee as well, because
that's true.
Very few of the McDonald's locations, and probably none of the ones around me, are owned by a McDonald's corporate.
Right.
They're all franchised.
And some of the deals that I see available in the app are only available at certain locations on certain days as well.
Yeah,
so who knows what's going on in the AI and the algorithm of McDonald's. Anyway, okay, sorry. That was a distraction. Okay. Go back to your spreadsheet.
So we got all those prices. And then I made a column after that that's called the average cost. So just like across all of these 4 locations, because I go to all of them and it just depends on the day. But whatever. Make the average. The arithmetic mean. And then the thing that I wanted to know is how much are the points worth? How much is each point worth?
Like in US dollars?
Yes.
Basically?
Yes.
Okay.
So I take the point cost for each row. So the McChicken is 1,500 points. The average cost is $1.99. Divide 1,500 by $1.99. That's 0.133 cents per point.
Cents or... Okay, cents. 0.133
so each
cents.
point
so
is
really...
worth about 1/10 of a cent. And they're all like, the average here is they're about 1/10 of a cent. Were you going to say something else?
No, I'm just marveling at your dedication to this question.
Okay. So we have that piece of information now. My second question was, are some of these items a better deal to buy with points than others? And the answer to that is yes. Let's see. The one that has the highest average point value is the cheeseburger, actually, which costs 1,500 points, but its average cost near me is $2.14, which you'll recall is higher than the McChicken at $1.99. And so that makes the average point value 0.143 cents.
Oh my goodness.
So if you're trying to
this is amazing.
just optimize the dollar value you're getting out of your points, the cheeseburger, for me, at the moment, looks like the best deal.
Okay, so I'm thinking right now of a few members of my family who need to receive this information, because that's actually what they get every time, is a cheeseburger.
So, well, there you go.
But I would have to do the same math, I guess, for my area too, because I'm in a different state, different locale. Who knows?
I would be interested to know if it is different, or if like this general trend holds, even if the prices are slightly different.
I mean, I could do it. I have too much experience with McDonald's app. I'm not committing to you, Steve, though.
Okay.
I'm not committing to do this, but I'm, it could happen.
Another thing that was interesting is that it wasn't uniform across all of the items for the more expensive versus the less expensive locations. Like some of the items are a little bit more and some are a little bit less. So there does seem to be some pricing magic going on in there.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Some of these price differences are pretty big. Like the Happy Meal.
The Happy Meal is a big one. Like it could be $6.79 or it could be $4.69.
Yeah, that's wild.
That was like a 6-piece McNugget, I think. I just did the most expensive Happy Meal.
Oh, okay. So there's different kinds of Happy Meals. That's a good point. I was like, my mind was off to the races. It was like, okay, is it because people take their kids shopping with them at Walmart, and so they have to walk past the McDonald's, so there's like supply and demand, and like
that thought had crossed my mind. Yeah.
Whew. I mean, okay. So this is interesting because even though you've found the optimal way to spend points in terms of getting your money's worth, we're talking about very small amounts of difference, tenths or less of a cent, right? So I don't need to have anxiety about this. Probably.
No.
When I'm deciding what to spend my points on.
Right. Like another question that I've been interested to answer but have not yet run the numbers for is like how does using points or using deals, we haven't even talked about deals in the McDonald's app yet, but like the deals are another thing. Like how does using one of those affect the total cart value for a meal?
Yeah.
If I get the cheeseburger for 1,500 points, but then I also buy fries and a drink, would it have been better for me to do the like 20% off everything over $5 thing instead?
Right. Yeah. And of course, at least this is how it is where I'm at. I assume it's probably universal, but they limit you to using either one deal or 1 points redemption per order. Or maybe that I know of, maybe it's per day. Like, could you do multiple orders and drive through the drive-through a few times? This is getting kind of crazy.
Yes, you can, and I have done that.
Steve.
It wasn't the same McDonald's. It was like I was on a drive home, so I got like the McChicken here, and then I got an ice cream cone later or something.
Okay, that's amazing.
Another 15 miles down the road.
This is my favorite episode already. I'm obsessed with this. Yeah, so I've had a much less robust way of testing this out myself. If our listeners haven't figured this out by this point in the episode, well, they're going to know now. I go to McDonald's a lot, okay? Apparently so does Steve. But like I've noticed, my typical order is usually like a McDouble and a large fry. And depending on the deals that they have available that day, I've gone back and forth on, because they have a deal often around me. It's like a large fry for $1, which is normally like $3.50 or thereabouts, or another one that's like 20% off any order over $5. Anyway, and so all I do is like I try both versions in the app and see which one costs the least. It takes a little bit more time. There's no spreadsheet involved. Anyway.
But you're getting the real-time prices, which, as we
But I'm getting the
discussed,
real-time prices, yeah.
might be different every
That's
time.
true. That's true. And actually, that particular order, I don't even think it adds up to over $5. So I think that must be when I'm splurging, because sometimes I like to get a quarter pounder instead of a McDouble if I'm feeling kind of
choice.
bougie.
Yeah.
You know, which is more expensive, quite a bit more expensive. Anyway, this is now sounding like a confessional. I don't know, but
Yeah. Should we relate this to business somehow? I mean, I had some thoughts, or we could just leave it as a McDonald's episode.
I was just wondering if we should relate it to weight loss, because unbelievable. So I eat at McDonald's a lot, but it's actually like kind of part of my. This is so weird. It's part of my current health plan, believe it or not. Oh, let's just say I fit it in the budget. I just like that they have all the calorie amounts like listed out, so it's very easy to track how much you're eating, even if it's not the best quality food.
Mm-hmm.
This podcast is not about nutritional advice, and no one should take that as advice, but that is what I'm doing. So look for the documentary.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we could try to relate this to our businesses. Actually, there is a direct tie-in, because early on in my coaching practice, when I was trying to figure out how on earth to price my services, I actually went to the McDonald's app and I looked at the prices for small, medium, and large French fries, because I had heard that there's like a psychology, right? If like you have three options, kind of a low price point, high price point, and a middle one, and most people will choose the middle one. This kind of, you hear about these pricing strategies. And I actually like put in a spreadsheet,
there it
the
is.
ratios between the prices of the small, medium, and large, and tried to like come up with I tried to model my. This was a long time ago. Okay, I've moved away from this. I actually never implemented it, but I tried to model my coaching package pricing off of the same ratios for like McDonald's French fries. Oh,
okay. Well, no, that's interesting. It's because I just read an email from Ryan Lazanis, who's a accounting firm runner, and he talks a lot about pricing. And I think it was him. Anyway, he does the pricing in 3 tiers, like you described, but the second tier is not like, the price is not right in the middle between the low and the high. It's like pretty close to the high tier, because he would rather that clients choose the highest one. And if the value looks like, oh, well, it's only $50 more a month or something to get the, whatever the price is, to get the highest tier.
Yeah.
Because I know I want the middle one at least, not the lowest one, but it's only a little bit more to get the highest one. Let's just go with that. It's like you go to the movie theater and like a small Coke is what, $3 something, and a medium is $4.50 and a large is $4.60.
Yeah,
and you're like, why would I get a medium? Except that that's all the soda I want, so I'm gonna get a medium, but.
Yeah, that's what it was. Sorry, I couldn't remember. Yeah, it's been a while since I've thought about this, but that's exactly right. And that's so I figured if anyone knew what they were doing with pricing, it would be McDonald's.
Right.
So why not model myself after them, right? I found the spreadsheet that I used. I just happened to pull it up. So it's not a dedicated spreadsheet. This is in my spreadsheet that is called When You Need a Spreadsheet. That I just kind of use as like a scratch pad for solving random questions like this. So yeah, I've got the small fries at $1.99, the medium fries at $2.29, and the large fries at $3.19. This would have been like last year. I don't know if this has changed since then or whatever, but yeah. And then I basically just figured out like some multipliers and like scaled it up.
Okay.
From French fries to coaching packages.
Yeah. Fascinating.
This is like a very indirect way of getting at other than, instead of like trying to understand the psychology and the math, this is basically copying someone else and hoping that it's a good strategy. Again, I did not end up going with this. I don't even have small, medium, and large packages anymore, but I thought it was worth throwing out there since, McDonald's.
Right. And pricing is, for me at least, has been a long running experiment of trying to figure out what my pricing should be. And so, I think it's useful to look at examples of like, how does McDonald's do it? How do other accounting firms do it? How do other coaches do it? That kind of thing. And you have to find your own path. But those folks know something, and maybe something that you don't know yet, and so it can be
Oh, for
useful
sure.
to lean on them, get ideas from them.
I've been using the McDonald's app for a long time. Speaking of how much they know, but I think I actually texted you when this happened to me for the first time, and it must have been a year or two ago. I don't know. They haven't always done it, or maybe you have to spend a certain amount with them for this to happen or whatever. But I got like a your McDonald's year in review email
Oh wow.
one time, and I was like, no, 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 no. Like, I am not that person. This cannot be happening. Uh, so they do, yeah. And now I've gotten several since then. So it must not be like a year in review. Sometimes it's like a month. I need to pay more attention to this. But I just remember I'm like, well, I'm just gonna delete that email real quick and pretend like I don't have a problem.
Okay.
But they know my habits. Yes, they do. So,
Yeah.
and if they wanted to, I mean, I don't know how. This is all speculation, just to be clear. But I mean, they could probably learn your habits and do customized pricing. I've heard of that as a model, where companies know about your rough, demographically, like what is your income level, and maybe offer different pricing based on that. I don't know if that's like confirmed or something that I just heard on the internet, but let's hope McDonald's doesn't go that way.
Right. I think it'd be a little harder for them to get away with that because the prices are posted there on the menu as you drive up.
Right. Right.
Okay. Well, one other potential tie-in is the idea of running what if scenarios of like forecasting things. Like this can be useful in cash flow forecasting for your business where like you may not know what it's going to look like a year from now, but you can make some assumptions and like play out a few scenarios and see what would happen if like this and this is true. What would that look like? And then let's switch those variables. If this and this happens, what would that look like? And that can kind of give you some points to triangulate.
Yeah.
And match that up against your goals to see if I keep doing these things, will that get me where I want to, or do I need to change something?
I feel like there's a deeper message in here too, which is, Steve, if we keep doing these things, and by these things I mean eating at McDonald's, will that get us where we want to be?
Uh-huh.
For now, for me, the answer is yes. So, and now that's on the record. Oh,
They first drew me in with the like $1 breakfast sandwich
interesting.
deal. It's probably a couple years ago now. They don't have it anymore, but because you could get the breakfast sandwich for $1 and then a coffee for whatever amount, a couple dollars, and then there's your breakfast.
Yeah,
on the way to work.
It's unbelievably convenient. I just love doing the curbside pickup too. This is now turning into an ode to McDonald's, but like, I'm at the place I'm going to be going from where I am home around lunchtime. Typically, it's like the dog park. I've taken my dog out for lunch or something. I can just punch in my order as I'm getting in my car. I just park in the parking spot. They bring me the food. I go home. It's amazing. I know a lot of places do this, but this is the one that I use.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always so fast and so convenient. Here's a question for you. You listed like 4 McDonald's on this spreadsheet. Are they somewhat equidistant from your house? And what determines which one you go to?
They are roughly equidistant, yeah, and it just depends which direction I'm going. If I'm going into this town or the other town, I'm kind of like in a suburb out between a bunch of towns. So yeah, it just depends what else I'm doing on that errand.
So here's a conundrum I have. I used to live like 4 to 6 minutes from the closest McDonald's, and that was bad enough. Then they built one across the street.
Oh.
But it turns out I actually more often go to the one that's a little bit further away still, just because it's like on the way to and from so many places compared to the other one. So it's kind of interesting. But I should buy McDonald's stock. If I spend as much on their stock as I did on their food. Anyway.
This is not investing advice either.
No.
Don't take health advice or investing advice from us.
Well, Steve, thanks for sharing. I think this is a really, really fun spreadsheet story. And I want to know, I guess, is this going to change your behavior at all? Like, have you learned anything through this experience that is going to modify your orders or how you use the app or anything like that?
That is a good question. I don't know.
I mean, if not, that's totally fine because you never know what the heart wants when you're hungry. So,
Well, yeah, fair enough. At the moment, not yet, but I may run like some what if scenarios, and that might change things. But yeah, like you say, I want a fillet of fish today, and so that I'm gonna get that. Whether it's
yep.
the biggest bang for your buck on the point value or not.
All right. Well, thanks for coming with us on this very revelatory journey about McDonald's.
Yeah. You can email us hello@notaboutmoney.com, and we'll see you again on another episode.